I'm walking with the Spirit, and I'm talking to the Spirit. I'm learning from the Spirit, and I'm turning to the Spirit. I'm growing in the Spirit, and it's showing through the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. Well, I'm walking with the Spirit. I'm talking to the Spirit. I'm learning from the Spirit, and I'm turning to the Spirit. I'm growing in the Spirit, and it's showing through the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. When I find myself in one of those situations that's leading to some kind of drama or confrontation, I go within and get plugged into my friend before it's too late. I put the Spirit in front of me to make those crooked places straight. I'm walking with the Spirit, and I'm talking to the Spirit. I'm learning from the Spirit, and I'm turning to the Spirit. I'm growing in the Spirit, and it's so Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. When I find myself in one of those situations, when I don't know what to do and got no explanation, I go within and get plugged in for a revelation. 10 times out of 9 things will work out fine without my participation. I'm walking with the Spirit. I'm talking to the Spirit. I'm learning the Spirit, and I'm turning to the Spirit. I'm growing in the Spirit, and it's showing the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. We are so happy to have you join us today, whether you're here at the Inspiration Cafe or seeing us virtually. We are happy to see you, and we have a great speaker today that I will be introducing later. Reverend Dr. Maxine and Reverend Mike are in Calgary. Reverend Maxine is speaking there today, and we are speaking here. So we are very happy to have you with us, and we are a welcoming center, awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And our purpose statement is living, loving, learning. Spirituality that works. So we are happy to have you, and we are celebrating this wonderful time of freedom, peace, joy, and inspiration.
All right now, everybody put your hands together. I got up this morning singing. God is so good. Oh yeah, I got up this morning singing. God is so good. You know, I got up this morning singing. God is so good. Hey, 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 my God is so good to me. Feeling good down in my soul, yeah. God is so good. I am feeling good down in my soul, yeah. God is so good. I'm feeling good down in my soul, yeah. God is so good. Praise God, and my God is so good to me. In my time of trouble, God is so good. Praise God, in my time of trouble, I know God is so good. In my time of trouble, I sing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Well, in my time of triumph, I know God is so good. Oh, in my time of triumph, I say, God is so good. Oh, yeah, in my time of triumph, I know God is so good. My God is so good to me. And when the day is over, I'm singing, God is so good. When my day is over, I'm singing, God is so good. Well, when my day is over, I'm singing, God is so good. Hey, hey, my God is so good to me. Oh, every day, in every way, God is so good. Oh, yeah, every day, in every way, God is so good. When I take the time to praise the Spirit, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Come on now, every day, in every way, God is so good. Hey, yeah, every day, in every way, God is so good. When I take the time to praise the Spirit, you every day better find the time to take the time to praise the Spirit. Oh yeah, you gotta take the time to praise the Spirit. God is so good. My God is so good to me. Hey, I got up this morning singing. God is so good. Praise God. I got up singing. God is so good. I got up this morning singing. God is so good. Oh yeah, my God is so. My God is so. My God is so good to me.
Good morning. My name's Edie Janik, and I'm happy to present to you today's Wee Wisdom. talk. So I just want to say this place is hopping. We've got a full crowd. I wish we could turn the cameras around so we could see. We've got a full crowd here at Inspiration Cafe, and we're so much looking forward to having Dr. Hazel Spears share her wisdom with us today. So back this way. Back this way. All right. Thanks, Payson. So, Dr. Maxine and Reverend Mike are in Canada. They're hiking around. I said, what are you, hiking trail? She said, oh, no. Reverend Doug knows all the mountains up there, so every day is something different, and they're hiking the trails, and the air is clear and great, so they're having a good time. So she asked if I would do the wee wisdom today. So I said, sure. So let's talk to the kids. How was that? So we're happy to see you here. I don't know if when you're at camp, because we have 3 folks at camp left yesterday, I don't know if you're able to take some time out to join your center's celebration, but if you're here, that's wonderful. If you're not, I know that's because you're having a wonderful time. So for the kids that are out there, thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you here. And July's topic has been freedom. Rightfully so. And one way that we express our freedom is through our choices. And we have lots and lots of opportunities to make all kinds of choices throughout our days, throughout our weeks. And it's a wonderful experience of making a choice because we're free to make a choice. So let's do a little experiment. I've got a live audience here, so I can ask the audience what they see as well. What do you see here? Now, of course, it's a glass and it has water in it, but what do you see? The age-old question.
Oh, I see. Glass half full.
Half full. You see it half full?
Yes.
Anybody see it half empty? If somebody did see it half empty, would they be wrong? No. They wouldn't be wrong.
That's correct.
It is both half full and half empty. So no one's wrong in the way they see this. Let me look at my notes so I don't get off track here. In the truth, it could be either. It really is either. The person who says it's half empty is just as right as the person that says it's half full. But how we see things often is a choice, even though either choice is correct in this instance. But it's our choice, and how we choose to see things affects our experience. Because how we choose to see things affects our emotion, and our emotion affects our behavior, and our behavior affects our experience. So, I have to turn the page. If you say the glass is half empty, you are choosing to see microphone. You are choosing to see what's missing, right? And there is something missing, but you're focusing on what's missing or what the glass lacks, what it lacks. If you choose to see the glass half full, you're choosing to see what the glass has to offer. It's good, what it holds, what it contains, its essence, what it's focused on. So now, this is just a glass of water, but think about this principle when looking at other things. So I tried a little experiment in preparation for this talk today, and I thought, let me see if I can focus on what's lacking in this flower. My brain can't do it, right? So when I said, well, it's not blue, and it doesn't have bugs on it, and it's not moldy, like my brain goes, get over all that. Look how pretty it is. It just calls to me to whether or not peach is my favorite color. It might not be. Maybe I prefer blue flowers over pink flowers. That's my preference. But the essence of this flower, I just know. I see its perfection. I can't help but see its perfection. So, using that same principle, think about this when you're looking at other people. When you see other people, your friends, your teachers, your family members, do you focus on what's, in your opinion, missing from them or what they're lacking? Or do you focus on what they hold and contain and the good they have? You focus on the good. Because remember, what you see in things affects your experience. So when things don't go your way, everybody has that happen from time to time. When things don't go the way you want, do you see what the situation is lacking or missing, or do you look to see what the situation might offer? It's your choice. You have a choice. You're free to choose, and your experience of the person or the circumstance will reflect your choice. Have fun expressing your freedom to choose in the way that creates a beautiful life experience for yourself and those around you and the world, because you make a difference. And that's the end. You have a great day.
Thank you, Edie. That was a wonderful wee wisdom. Just perfect. And now let us take time for meditation. So let us go within, taking a deep holy breath and releasing, getting here today, knowing we are divinely blessed, knowing we have the freedom of choice each and every day. Feel that breath go in deeply, allowing yourself to relax, tuning into that deep space within that has never been harmed by anything. It is our light that is always burning bright. And we have the freedom to shine this light wherever we choose, whenever possible. And it is always possible. For each one of us is one of the divine energy. We are God in action, each and every day. And let us take a silent moment to breathe in, to remember who we are. And we do this now. Knowing always that we are of this energy, that we are all one, connected heart to heart, mind to mind.
We are now going to sing together, I Am So Blessed. so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Last time. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Good morning, everyone. I am Cheryl Macklin, and I am a practitioner for the Center for Spiritual Living. Edie, thank you so much for We Wisdom. I have always found that I'm really just a grown-up kid when We Wisdom, because I learn more sometimes even from what is shared, and it's so important to remember that we have a choice. And I am so incredibly grateful that you all chose to be with us today. We are blessed, truly blessed, by your presence. It is my joy to present a few readings, and then the opening treatment, and then the affirmation along with you. So if you've been with us, you know that my go-to favorite book is 365 Science of Mind. And by some strange coincidence, the topic for July is freedom. And so instead of picking one reading, what I did was to kind of keep it short, to pick just tiny readings from a few different dates. This is the one that shows up as a beginning to the chapter, and this is by Ernest Holmes. We have thought that outside things controlled us, when all the time we have that within that could have changed everything and given us freedom from bondage. Whoops. This is from the first day. I expand my consciousness and invite new experiences, knowing that they shall be created for me by the same power that makes everything I enter into this freedom with complete abandonment, with the feeling that all things are working out for well. What he has on July 8th. The truth is not only perfection, it is also power. It is not only presence, it is also action. Therefore, the truth and the power and the presence and the action of the living Spirit flow through everything I do, say, and think. I do know the truth, and the truth I know frees me and keeps me free. And on the 27th, letting go of that which is little, I now enter into a larger concept of life. Dropping all fear, I entertain faith, realizing that every form of uncertainty is seeing only in part. I open my spiritual eyes to that which is wholeness. The last one from the 23rd. I feel the impact of this presence in my own mind. I sense its feeling and imagination in my own thinking. I see it operating through all my actions. And since there is no big or little, everything becomes important. Because everything is the self-expression of truth, of that within me that doeth all things well. Therefore I surrender myself completely to that one power, that all-knowing mind, that one presence, which is beauty and love and peace and joy. And so I celebrate this wonderful gift of us all being together, making the choice to connect heart to heart, spiritual being to spiritual being. There is one infinite presence, and Ricky Byers sang it so well, that we are all blessed to be expressions of God. So today we gather to celebrate that truth, that we are all expressions of the wholeness, the joy, the peace, and the freedom of God. And so every part of our day today, every part of this celebration is an expression of God, of wholeness. I am grateful for our speaker today, Hazel. I am grateful for the music. I am grateful for everyone who participated in putting this service together. It was a little challenging sometimes to go around trees in the highway, but we each made the choice to be here. And so I release my word to the law, knowing that this service, this celebration, this time together is God expressing. With gratitude, I let it be so, and so it is. Now our affirmation for today: though I live in this world, I am not bound by anything I experience. I am free to envision and even embody the world beyond this one. I know true power is invisible, and I know that I'm one with this power.
Thank you, Cheryl, for that lovely treatment. And we have something extra special today called a demonstration. And for those of you that don't know what a demonstration is, after doing a spiritual mind treatment for what you would desire or like to see happens. It can happen right away. It might take a week. It might take a month. But we get a demonstration. And so today I am pleased to introduce Katie Russo, who has a demonstration for us.
Thank you. So this is a demonstration that my mom and I both share. And about a year ago, I wanted a cat. And I was like, and I cannot have a cat where I live right now. So I was like, Mom, you and I can share a cat. Yeah. And she saw through that one, and she was like, and I was sending her lots of photos of cute cats that were available for adoption nearby. And she was telling me that it was probably not the best time to get a cat for her. And I was like, okay, but I'm going to put it out in the universe that when the time is right to get a cat's going to show up. And I was like, okay. And so Mom and I talked about this cat, and we were like, well, we want this cat. Mom was like, I don't really like cleaning the litter box. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this cat won't need to use a litter box. And I didn't know how that was going to work. We were trying to decide if you can potty train a cat. Who knows? and we wanted the cat to talk back to us, like meow at us. We really love when that happens, and we wanted it to be really, really snuggly. And we also wanted it to, my mom was like, I also want some space. I want this cat to be like really present, but also not constantly asking for my attention. And so I was like, okay, universe, I would like a cat when the time is right. And 2 weeks later, my mom sends me a video of a cat poking out from the deck in front of our house. This cute cat, it was perfect. And so in the past year, he has moved in with us. He goes to the bathroom outside. There's no litter box like necessary. He's super snuggly. He talks back to us. He's just everything we wanted. And he just showed up in like 2 weeks, and it was perfect. That's it. His official name is Winston. We call him Little Kitty, Snuggles, Snuggledore, because I'm a Harry Potter fan. He's got a lot of names. Yeah. Thank you.
That's great. And it's wonderful to have a demonstration. So if anybody going forward has a demonstration, please let us know. Thank you so much. Okay, now we come to the very exciting part of today. Dr. Hazel Spears is a licensed religious science practitioner, practicing actively at the Center of Peace, a sister center for spiritual living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She received her PhD from Princeton University and teaches psychology at the nation's first historically black institution for higher learning, Cheney University, near Granite Run, Pennsylvania. The study of psychology being the other science of mind, it gives Dr. Spears great pleasure in the classroom to be able to draw parallels between what scientific research has uncovered about the workings of the mind and about what the spiritual principles tell us is the actual state of affairs in human experience. Theories like self-fulfilling prophecy, possible selves, cognitive dissonance, positive psychology, and many, many more make it clear, as Einstein suggested, this is a universe of energy, which we can use to transform our experience. As she reminds her students regularly, you are balls of energy, drawing to you exactly what you are putting out there. Don't like what you are getting? Well, then change your energy regulator, your mind. It is with great love and appreciation that I introduce Dr. Hazel Spears.
Thank you, Sarah. I don't think I need that. I think I've got the lavalier. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, what a day. So good to see you all. It's my pleasure to be here with you today when Reverend Dr. Maxine asked me to fill in for her because she's in Calgary giving a sermon, giving a talk. I said, wonderful. And I was doubly delighted when she said the topic is freedom. Goodness gracious. Who doesn't like talking about freedom? Edie already talked about freedom this morning. Everybody talks about freedom. Even authoritarians and dictators talk about freedom. They're lying, but they're talking about freedom because they know what the people want and need. So that is my pleasure to talk about that today, here with you as in the place where we share truth, light, energy, the food for the soul. So it's my pleasure to be here with you today to do exactly that. Yes, everybody likes to talk about freedom because it is in fact a never-ending topic. It's at the core of what it means to be alive. It's at the core of what a democracy is, what a child of God is. Everybody from Nelson Mandela to Ernest Holmes to the women's music movement to the gay rights movement to Juneteenth, the 4th of July, to a famous quote misattributed to Harriet Tubman. It just goes on and on, everybody. Thousands of quotes about freedom. And I'm going to share a few of those with you today to, so to speak, set your heart free. So, but first, we must start with the science of mind principle. And there is one principle that discusses freedom directly. We are free to choose and create our experience of life. Let me say that again. We are free to choose and create our experience of life. It's also put in the more formal language that we use too sometimes. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I have to tell you, the concept of freedom my 16-year-old self had is vastly different from the one that I have now, 55 years later. That concept of freedom could have gotten me in jail, in the hospital, in many bad relationships, and in all kinds of trouble. All right? And as I tell my students, you know, you are in college now, and you are free. Free to sleep late, skip class, ignore the work you have to do, or free to make thoughtful decisions which help you accomplish what you came here to do, acquire skills and get a degree, and move forward and closer to that every single day. Now, what use of freedom do you think is going to help your dreams come true? I hope they listen to me, and I wish somebody had told me that when I was their age. Certainly something that I still have to consider every day. Because freedom is a paradox. For instance, this nation was founded by people seeking freedom. Freedom from persecution, freedom to pursue the religion that they thought was true, freedom from exploitation. And they come here, and what do? They institute slavery. You might wonder how this turn of events came to pass, but Ernest Holmes may have a little something to say that could shed a little light on that paradox, that way of thinking. He says, no person whose entire time is spent in the contemplation of limitation can demonstrate freedom from such limitation. I'll say that again. No person whose entire time is spent in the contemplation of limitation can demonstrate freedom from such limitation. So if your contemplation of freedom means limiting somebody else's freedom, you know you are on the wrong track. Take, for instance, the case of freedom. Been in the news lately. A country notorious, renowned, absolutely celebrated for being a nation of free thinkers, people who are very conscious of letting people go their own path. So what did a young Swede recently do with that famous freedom? He went to a mosque and burned the Quran on the front steps. There's a little bit more to this story. He happens to be, it did create an international incident, but he happens to be a Iraqi Christian immigrant who wanted to display his feelings toward the Quran. He wanted to enjoy his new freedom that he had in Sweden. International relationships be damned. It sort of reminds me of the paradox, the quandary that we find ourselves here in this nation with the Second Amendment right. Your right to freely carry a gun can seriously impinge on my right to go to the grocery store, to go to church, to go to the playground, to go to the movies, to go anywhere these days. Clearly, we have some choices to make. Freedom is not easy, it's not pretty, and it's not universally good. Such as the lament Janis Joplin shared in her rendition of the Chris Christopherson song, Me and Bobby McGee. Anybody remember that? Yeah, it was all over the radio. Thank you, my sister Mimi. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Now, what the heck does that mean? That's what is that, I was thinking about it. And that's the real paradox. It embodies the real paradox of freedom. Because once you cherish something, be it your children, your spouse or lover, your possessions, all of a sudden, guess what? You're in a form of bondage. You want to control that. You don't want to lose that. You want to know what's going on with that. You worry about that stuff, those people. So, the next line of the song continues. Remember this one, Mimi? Very quixotically. Nothing don't mean nothing, baby, if it ain't free. All right, nothing don't mean nothing, honey, if it ain't free. Are we confused yet? I was. But maybe you too will recognize that one true thing that I can relate to that is our relationship to God. In many traditions, we ask, why did God give us freedom to so horribly, regularly, constantly misuse? What was God thinking? So the answer, as perhaps Chris Christopherson astutely intuited, is if we did not freely choose the principles, the guidance, the teachings of God, if we were automatons, we could not grow. We could not be one with the infinite. We would be limited in every way. So we have to want to, we have to choose to embody the will of God. And as Janice told us, indeed, nothing don't mean nothing, honey, if it ain't free. So we have to turn to that force on the regular in order to embody it and put it to use. In my own life, I have made choices I regret. You too? I got married at 19. I got divorced at 23. Yes, I'm speedy, speedy with my life challenges. I got married to a man that was intelligent, good, decent, compassionate. I was very fond of him. And the problem was, I never really wanted to get married. That was the problem. I wanted an exciting life. I didn't want kids. I didn't want anybody telling me what to do. I didn't want any encumbrances. I wanted to sleep in late. I wanted to talk to people till 3 a.m. in the cafe if I wanted to. I wanted to go to exotic places. You too? Yeah. So you might ask, why did I get married? Indeed. Well, I was living with this wonderful man. Wonderful, you know, everybody's wonderful generally, and every day it might be a little bit more routine, but wonderful. And he was a great guy. He was a basketball player, 6'4". And we were poor and we lived in this tiny apartment. So some things were cramped. And so what was cozy at first was getting a little tight after a fashion. And according to my parents, I was not just living with my boyfriend. We were shacking up. We were living in sin. This was before I encountered religious science, but even then I knew this isn't sin. Maybe killing somebody, running over an animal. I'm an animal lover too, Katie. I've got 7 cats. That stuff might be sins, I don't know, but my mother, cleverly, she knew what to do. She says, listen, if you two get married, I'm going to buy you some furniture. I'm going to buy you a big double bed. We laughed at that. Oh, look, she's being manipulative. That, you know. But then we thought about it a little bit more. Hey, it would be kind of nice. And my dear sweetheart said, you know, why don't we get married? I love you. Let's get married. And I, who had never thought of this thing, I was a kind of a committed, what do you call it, bachelorette. I said, well, I love you too. Why not? And in the back of my head, I'm saying, hey, it's another adventure. We can always get divorced. Yeah, not the best attitude to go into a marriage. But that's exactly what happened. I'm not blaming my mom. I'm not blaming my 19-year-old self. I'm not blaming my 23-year-old self. But I'm just saying, with this freedom thing, mistakes will be made, all right? Especially if you're myopic, if you're distracted, if you're just young and inexperienced. These things happen. I made the move to get married because my back hurt. I was curious, and I was in a form of love. I made the move to get divorced because despite all of that, I loved my freedom even more. And I still do. And I still love him too. Even the Spirit does not seek to control us. It lets us alone to discover ourselves. Even the Spirit does not seek to control us. It lets us alone to discover ourselves. From Ernest Holmes, 365. in the month of freedom. Isn't that wonderful? I thought that was interesting too. I think it was the Reverend Dr. Maxine. She's right on top of these things. And so I've been surrounded by the idea of freedom this month, the concept of freedom, in preparation for this talk, Juneteenth, the 4th of July, all these wonderful things happening. And in fact, one of my favorite radio station, WHYY-FM, this very week had a show on freedom, on the Pulse, a science-based show about all things health. And so the first speaker that she introduced, the host, Mike and Scott, the great Mike and Scott, and he defined freedom, and he was a scientist. He defined freedom as, listen to this, the capacity for conscious cognitive control. Cognitive control. The capacity for conscious cognitive control. That blew me away. That's science of mind. That's what it's all about. So they should ring a few bells, but let's see if Ernest could say it a little bit better. Or just differently, because we can't hear this stuff enough. From Creative Mind, page 41. The whole thing resolves itself into our mental ability to control our thought. The man who can do this can have what he wants, can do what he wishes, and become what he wills. The whole thing resolves itself into our mental ability to control our thought. The man who can do this can have what he wants, can do what he wishes, and can become what he wills. What a joy. We're all daydreamers, but how many of us, like Katie, can make these dreams come true? We all can. And I know you can attest to this, but it takes a little practice. It takes a little life experience. And maybe you, like me, have to get lost before you get found. Before I got married, I was in college. And I didn't go to class, so I got kicked out. I got into another college where I met my husband, Rutgers. He graduated, I dropped out. Then my marriage adventure. After that, I spent the next 10 years in radio. I was a disc jockey and radio announcer in Biloxi, Mississippi, in New Orleans, Louisiana, and in Los Angeles, California. I could get jobs. I just couldn't keep jobs. I'd show up late for my shift. Big no-no. Or maybe the program director had a friend who needed a job, and so he gave him mine. Or when I started radio, we could be in a room of 10,000 records and choose the ones we wanted and just have a very great groove. But then came the advent of Magic 99, where you had a playlist of 75 songs, and it was your choice over 4 hours to play them over and over. And those 75 songs ad nauseum. So radio wasn't what it always had been at one particular time. So I had my last job in radio in about 1983. And at that particular time, 1984. And so I was now 10 years divorced. My parents were not talking to me, and my meandering acting and modeling career, I mean, I was in Hollywood for a reason, that's what I came there for, wasn't really going anywhere fast. Sometimes it was hard to pay the rent. So I too had some new choices to make. And it hurt like heck when I decided to go ahead and get a regular gig after I got fired from that last radio station at a newsstand. Had to open it up at 6 a.m. and close it down and when my shift was over. But it gave me time to think, gave me time to contemplate my meandering life. And I had to come to grips with the fact that what my mother had told me was true. You start things, but you never finish them. And yeah, I felt like a failure. Fortunately, a friend of mine, an actor, his name is Ernie Hudson. Maybe you've seen him, he was a lead in Oz, Ghostbusters, a few other things. And Ernie was we were chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and he says, this is great, this Buddhism, but I got something. I'm going to a church now. It is so excellent. I want to become a minister in this church. I said, what? Because Ernie is a lively person, crazy, sexy, cool, all those things. And I said, you want to become a minister? I got to see this. So I went to Founders Church of Religious Science, and Dr. William Hornaday was there. And he was talking about a sensible God. a coherent universe, a power that was always with me that I could use to create the life I wanted to. I always thought that might be true, because when I was thinking crazy, crazy things happened, and when I was holding on to something that I really had to have, that I knew I had to have in my life, I always got it. I couldn't figure out how that worked, though. Just couldn't figure out how that worked. But I enjoyed that church, and I went to that church. And so when I had fallen on these hard times, I had something to fall back on. So I was able to turn away from Hollywood, hard as it was, and enrolled in Los Angeles City College. Well, I was going to be a film director or something else, maybe journalism, maybe psychology, but I am grateful to this day. And my friends always say, you're lucky you went back to school. Yeah, I guess you could call it lucky, but I guess you could call it desperation. I got to get my parents to talk to me. I got to start finishing things. I got to build a life of meaning. I want to do something in this world. So I made that choice over half a lifetime ago, and I'm very grateful for that. It was the Greek philosopher Epictetus, over 2,000 years ago, who asked, is freedom anything else than the right to live as we wish? Nothing else. And these are the words of a former slave. Is freedom anything else than the right to live as we wish? Nothing else. But I beg to differ. Freedom, like confidence, like fulfillment, like peace, balance, joy, these intangible, these invaluable qualities are things that people will spend their lives struggling to attain. Why? Why can we not, like the Buddha, like the Dalai Lama, like the darling child with Down syndrome who loves everybody and everything, not walk through life with wisdom, with balance, with peace, right with us, so we can have that joy of life, that satisfaction? I think the aforementioned misquote or quote that was misattributed to Harriet Tubman might offer some clarity. You might have heard it. It's a great quote, and I'm sure she had this sentiment from time to time. She said, or was supposed to have said, she did not say this, I hear. She said something like, I freed 1,000 slaves. I would have freed 1,000 more if they had known they were slaves. I freed 1,000 slaves. I would have freed 1,000 more if they had known they were slaves. That quote, expressing her supposed frustration with those who would not be free, speaks to all of us. Speaks to all of us who have been mesmerized by the glittering and superficial, by the easy and amusing, and have ignored the substantial and eternal. Mesmerized by the glittering and superficial, the easy and amusing, and ignored the substantial and eternal. It was Epictetus himself who later came back and reframed his take on freedom. This time he said, freedom is not procured by a full enjoyment of what is desired, but by controlling that desire. Freedom is not procured by a full enjoyment of what is desired, but by controlling that desire. It seems there must be some measure of wisdom in this acquisition of freedom, if one is not going to end up in bondage by pursuing it. When you think of the supposed freedom of the internet and social media, the freedom to carry deadly weapons, to eat junk food, to burn fossil fuels, to refuse to read. Some of my students seem to do that. To refuse to think critically. Freedom without wisdom is a force for destruction. But fear not. There is a balm in Gilead. From A Course in Miracles, Lesson 154. I am among the ministers of God, and I am grateful that I have the means to recognize that I am free. I am among the ministers of God, and I am grateful that I have the means to recognize that I am free. I love A Course in Miracles because it always tells us what we already what we want to have, what we long for, we already have. But we do need to look at things differently to recognize the freedom, the wisdom, the power, the peace we seek. It's already within us. We already have it. You know, in my searching for what the great philosophers had to say about freedom, I actually did find one who may have been the inspiration for Christofferson's take on freedom, the part about nothing left to lose. And that is the renowned atheist and capitalist Ayn Rand. Like to hear what she had to say about freedom? To her, freedom is to ask nothing, to expect nothing, to depend on nothing. Keep that in your headspace for a minute. Nothing is the operative word there. To ask nothing, to expect nothing, to depend on nothing. I'm sorry, I can't accept that. Because what we believe in is everything, everything, everywhere, all at once, all the time. Psalm 139. Sometimes I get a little verklempt from the reality of this beautiful teaching. In Psalm 139, the Bible tells us that even if I make my bed in hell, thou art there. Speaking of hell. And hopefully it's the butt of jokes, but sometimes it is where we find ourselves in this world. Because we know hell is a state of mind. And nobody made that clearer than Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning. Exactly. He related how he was able to find freedom in the midst of a Nazi death camp. He had lost everything, his pregnant wife, his parents. There was death all around him, and he knew he could be killed any day at the whim of these cruel guards, these Nazi guards who seemed to take joy in abuse and cruelty. Yes, he had to work. He was starving to death, but he had to work every day to exhaustion. He slept in a bed. If you call it a bed, it was wooden boards with 9 other prisoners. And life was very, very difficult. But even there, he found peace would come upon him. Peace was there. We use meditation, we use prayer, we use affirmation. But he found it there. And he lived. He lived to tell us about it. Let me get a glass of water here. I love this teaching. There's so much truth in it and so much power in it. And when I think about people's life experiences, many of you shared some today, I am just overcome by the reality that we are energy. And that energy is powerful. So I end with a quote from Brother Ernest. But first, one on a lighter note from the author of The Little Prince, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who was clearly channeling Dr. Holmes when he said, I know but one freedom, and that is the freedom of the mind. Yes, even he said this. Very well. A penultimate quote from Brother Ernest. The divine plan is one of freedom. The inherent nature of man is ever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom, because freedom is the birthright of every living soul. Yes, say it again. The divine plan. Amen to that. The divine plan is one of freedom. The inherent nature of man is ever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom, because freedom is the birthright of every living soul, and we should never forget that. We came here to seek, and it is in this seeking itself that brings us to our finding. We must reach out. But after a sip of water, I must give the last word to A Course in Miracles. Because in this case, it may manage to supersede even the magnificent Dr. Holmes. Ready? A Course in Miracles, Lesson 163. There is no death. The Son of God is free. Thank you all so much for your time and your ears. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hazel Spears. That was magnificent.
Oh, thank you.
It's on. Thank you very much. And we are very, very excited to have you here today. What a wonderful talk on freedom. It gives us a lot to think about and to express in our lives.
Thank you, Sarah.
Now we come to our prosperity celebration. And this is a time when we give to our center so that we can continue to do what we do. And I will pass this around, the basket. And there are envelopes in there if you wish to put your contribution in an envelope and write your name on it. And let us say our prosperity celebration. I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is.
Gonna be the first on the dance floor, the first to raise my hand, the first to state my opinion, the first to make a stand. I won't play it safe and wait for a sign. I'm gonna throw myself out there and let my light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Woo! Gonna be on Ellen and Conan, 60 Minutes and The View. They'll all be talking about me and all the things I do. I'll be the one who sets the bar, the one who's in the know. Vogue will come to me to see where fashion trends will go. 'Cause I shine, yes I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. For too many years I hid my light, fearing I was too much and who I was just wasn't right. Then I heard this voice from within and up above saying, you're here to be a shining light and give and receive love. So I'm going for my dreams, nothing's in my way. Carpe diem is my mantra, practice kindness every day. I take time to connect, take time to have fun. I wanna know I've used up every drop before my life is done. 'Cause I shine, yes I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Now turn to the person next to you and say, I see your big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. For too many years I hid my light, fearing I was too much and who I was just wasn't right. Then I heard this voice from within and up above saying, you're here to be a shining light and give and receive love. I am a woman of power, a woman of grace. The life that I've lived in every wrinkle on my face. And I love myself, 'cause I love you too. I know when we're connected, there ain't nothing we can't do. 'Cause we shine, yes we shine. We let our big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Yes I shine, I shine. brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Yes, you shine, oh, you shine. You let your big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Oh, I shine, I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine.
Well, hello, it's me again, Edie Janik, happy to serve as the president of the Board of Trustees here for the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. So, Dr. Hazel Spears, I just really love you. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your heart with us and your wisdom. And it was wonderful for me to learn more about you as a person and your journey.
Thank you.
And it totally does resonate with me. Like when your joy welled up in your eyes about the truth that our practice and our teaching helps us understand and apply the spirituality, practical spirituality to our lives, the joy that comes with that. And so I was right there with you. And I was like, where are the tissues? Linda.
I saw you digging.
Yeah, you were smart. You brought your own, so that was good. All right, so I have today's announcements. Oh, but before we do that, Sarah, thank you so much. Sarah Funk, practitioner extraordinaire for emceeing today's Sunday celebration. And Cheryl Macklin, where are you? Hello. Fabulous treatment. And Payson, excellent job. So you didn't forget what to do after 3 weeks. You knew. It's like riding a bike now, right, Payson? Mm-hmm. So Linda O'Neill always thinks of, she thinks of everything, really. And thank you, Linda, for having us in your in this beautiful Inspiration Cafe. Thank you so much for allowing us to come in and pretty much literally take up the entire space. So, and thinking of all the details also. So she gave me 2 sets of announcements. Who does this? I guess it was in the spirit of freedom and choice.
Yes.
She wanted to give me a menu of announcements one way or the other. So I'm going to go with the chronological order one. That seems to make sense to me. The one that goes through the events in a date, chronological date order. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have 3 teens at the camp in Oregon. They left yesterday. The Eagle has landed. They are there. They had their first workshop last night. So thank you, everyone, for the financial support that you gave to the families to help send the teens there. And we also have Monet Farrington, who is for the first time going to the camp as an advisor. So really a beautiful experience, and we can look forward to them coming back and telling us all about it, which is always a lot of fun. If you are interested in supporting the teens, and because we'll have an ongoing fund for them, so we're ready next year when they want to go back to camp again, because once they go, they always want to go back. You can still click the link on our pop-up box and help support the center, either for the teen camp or for other donations. So right now it's the website, www.cslphilly.org. All right, you can also go to that same website to see our calendar of events. And the first event that I have here is actually a class. It's Bo Smith, who is a practitioner of ours. By the way, Bo's going to be coming up and visiting with us and at our in-person celebration at the end of, isn't it so great? I just saw somebody that has been in class together via Zoom get to meet each other in person for the first time, and what a great experience that is, right? To be like, oh my God, it's you. So it'll be wonderful for us to have Bo with us end of July, and I'll talk more about that in-person Sunday celebration in a moment. Well, Bo, who is a wonderful teacher, will be facilitating the 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, which is a 5-session Zoom class. Starts Tuesday, July 18th, 6:30 to 8:30. more details on that at our website. Full moon ceremony will be held August 7th at 7 p.m. at the Inspiration Cafe. That's right here, rain or shine. The last one was held here July 3rd, I believe. And it's a wonderful experience. And that is run by our friend Diane back there. There she is. Thank you. Nibbles and New Thought will be held Monday, August 7th. That's a monthly gathering where we go out and we sit around a nice big round table at the Brick and Brew in Malvern. They have doors, so it's very good. Once we shut those doors, we can talk really well because it's kind of a loud place. You know, people are out there chatting and having fun, drinking, and having dinner and great food. But when we shut the doors to this lovely room, we can really have like a fun discussion about different topics around New Thought, around science of mind. Bring your questions. It's a lot of fun. It's not real heavy. It's not heavy. It's informal and enjoyable. So I invite you to come to that. You want to register for the full moon ceremony and the Nibbles and New Thought because the seats are limited. There's only so much space. So our next in-person Sunday celebration, which I started to talk about, will be held the last Sunday in July. So mark your calendars. That's July 30th in Eagleville, PA. And as I said, that's when Bo's going to be present with us as well. And finally, Reverend Mike will be starting a new 13-week Zoom class on how to use the science of mind. So he just finished his book study. How many of you did the book study? Yes, we got lots of hands. Lots of hands. And God bless you. It's 3 years of reading that book. Right? But such a rich experience and so much dedication to the people that went. Oh my gosh. Really fabulous. So they've just finished that, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 Saturdays ago. And so Reverend Mike is, what do we do next? Well, we read the book. How to use the science of mind. We've read the book. Now how do we use it? So starting Saturday mornings, August 26th. So, you'll want to register for that as well so that he'll send you the link to join the Zoom. You know where to go, cslphilly.org for all the details and all of the links to register for those events, and hope to see you there. So thanks everybody for coming out here today. Really appreciate you being here, especially since the road was closed. So you can't stop Science of Minders from getting where they want to go, right? Okay. So I'll hand this back to, we have a song now. We have a song, and then we have benediction.
Gotcha.
All right, hit it. No?
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things that I can do, though embassy. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know, yeah. And I'd sing, 'cause I know, yeah. And I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels. I know how it feels to be free. Yeah, yeah, I know how it feels. And so now I know how it feels to be free. Oh, Lord, Lord.
And yes, it feels good. It feels marvelous. And we're still working on it, but boy, we know it feels good. The taste of it that we have. And I have to thank you all. It's so wonderful to be here with you who are free in what we learn and what we turn to regularly to feed our souls. Please join me, good people, as we go within and close our eyes. And remember, there is one spirit, there is one power, there is one life, and that is God's life, that is my life. That is the life of each and every one of us through spirit. And the closer we get to spirit, the more we turn to spirit, the more we understand my will is God's will, we are free. And freedom is what we all came here to experience in the flesh, which makes it so much harder. But we have tools for living that we acquire every day, every week, every choice we make. And I give thanks because we never walk alone. We are always with that power that is the greatest power, the power that supersedes all powers. So take that with you as you go forward into the world this week, looking upon each face and seeing the face of God, looking upon each heart and knowing that that is your heart, looking upon each challenge and knowing that there is God in this, there is a lesson in this, there is something for me in this, and give thanks. And that's what we do right now as we come together, knowing that our week is blessed, that our lives are blessed, that this family, this GSL Greater Philly is blessed, and we give thanks for that. And go forth, enjoy your lives, and I end this benediction with these words, and so it is.